Right, a while ago I started building a antenna farm on this 3 acres of land that I own, and I've made a good start on it. I've got the anchor points concreted in the ground, and I put the radials down for the vertical, but then one thing led to another, and for several reasons the project kind of stalled and got put on hold for a little while. So now we're getting a slightly nicer weather, I decided to restart this project. So I've gone out and got my mast. This is the Spider Beam 22 meter mast. Now I got it off the back of my 12 meter Spider Beam mast, and I absolutely love that mast. It seems quite robust compared to a lot of the other stuff in the market. So I'm not being sponsored by Spider Beam, but I do really rate their stuff. This is the like I said, the 22 meter mast. And this is actually the second time I've tried to put this mast up. The first time I had a couple of problems. You have to be a bit careful with, I don't know if you can see it or if this is in shot, but these, hang on, let me get the other camera on it. These clips that hold it up, here we go, let's see if I can get that on the camera. So these clips that hold it up stick out a little bit here, and I actually caught the guy rope on that as I was lifting it up. It got tangled, and the guy rope actually broke, and the mast came crashing down, and when it hit the ground, it actually snapped in 2 places, which absolutely gutted about. Now I got onto Spider Beams and told them what had happened, and I made the point that, I mean, this is fairly soft grass, so I would have kind of hoped that it would have you know, it would have survived falling on soft grass, but I made that point, and they said, well, it's only really supposed to take vertical loads. And anyway, they said as a goodwill gesture they'd send out 2 sections for me, replacement sections for the mast, but they'd only charge me for 1. So fair play to Spider Beams for that. But it says in their instructions the best way to do it is stand on a ladder and just push it up 1 section at a time, and then clamp it off. Like I say, that didn't work too well for me, and also the guy wires I think were a bit thin. They say to use 2mm guy ropes. I've actually stepped up the guy ropes for this, so for the lower level it's guyed at 2 levels. So for the lower level I've got 4mm guy rope, and for the upper level I've used 3mm guy rope, so slightly thicker than what they recommend. And I haven't got it tuned up yet, but the other problem I had was as you push it up, the bottom was lifting up. So I've actually got a bit of an arrangement here, and again on the other camera I put some temporary guy stakes in, one there and one over there, with a bit of rope around, and wrapped it around the base of the mast. I'll put this clamp in here as well to stop the rope sliding up the mast, and that just stops the base of the mast from kicking up, which was the other problem I had the last time round. And that actually seems to have worked really well, and actually filmed me putting it up. It's a bit of a struggle single-handed, but not horrendous actually once you get the knack. So this is going to be an 80 meter, a quarter wave vertical for 80 meters, but I'm thinking I could probably use it as a half wave vertical for 40 meters as well. Now the 2 bands aren't quite harmonically related, but I'm thinking primarily set it up as a half wave for 40. The SWR shouldn't be too far out on 80, especially down the lower section of the band on data. Higher up might be a bit tricky, but I think I should still be able to tune it out with an antenna tuner. So at the moment what I've got is, like I say, there's the mast there. Huge, great beast. This thing goes all the way up 22 meters. What's that in old money? About 70 feet, something like that. So there's my wire, and that's 1-to-1 balun at the moment, which I just put on there, and coax isn't connected to anything at the moment. I just put that on there to test it with the with the antenna analyzer, see where it's resonant. It's a little bit low. It's down about 3.2 megahertz at the moment, so I need to shorten this wire. So I can either do that by dropping the mast down, or it might be easier just to snip the bottom off and put another tag on the bottom, another connector on the bottom. So I think that's my next job. Before I do that though, like I said, I primarily want to get this working as a half wave on 40. So I'm going to put a 49:1 transformer on there, and we'll see where it's resonant on 40 before I change anything. Okay, so I've had the antenna up and down sort of 3 or 4 times and done a bit of pruning. I think I've more or less got it where I need it. So onto the other camera, onto my antenna analyzer. So if I can get it to focus, there we go. So this is with the 49:1, using it as an end-fed half wave on 40, and you see the SWR is a little bit higher than I would normally get. Not quite sure what's going on there. I'm getting about 1.6, 1.7 across the whole band, so I can live with that. So next thing is very, very quickly, I'm just going to switch this transformer out, and bear with me a second. And what I'll do is I'll put the 1:1 balun in there. I keep calling it a balun. It's a bit of a misnomer, really. I mean, if you look at my other video, I actually discussed this in some depth. Technically, it's actually well, it can be a balun, but it's also a common mode choke, which is effectively what it's doing in this role. So let's just quickly connect up my earth. Right, here we go. So back on the other camera again. So on my meter, let's just switch it down onto 80. So there you go, with 3 megahertz. As I wind up, my SWR is dropping. So 3.5 to 3.8 is our allocation here. So yeah, start of the band, we're about 1.6, 1.7-ish. 3.57 something I think is FT8. So we're way down to 1.1 down there. And then as we go up, so yeah, I mean, SWR's getting a little bit high at the top of the band. We're what, 2.4, 2.5 to 1 at the top of the band, so it's a little bit higher than I would have liked, but I kind of expected that because I wanted to use this as a half wave on 40 as well, and the bands aren't quite harmonically aligned with each other, so I'll have to accept a tiny bit of SWR at the top end, but I don't think the losses will be too significant with that, and I can just tune that out with the internal tuner in the radio, so that's not a big deal. So there you go, quite happy with that. Now I'm running out of time today, so I'm going to have to dash off and go elsewhere today, but next time I'll come down here and we'll actually put this on air, do a bit of whisper testing, maybe a bit of FT8, even some SSB, and just see how well it works.